Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video where today we return with round 5 of season 2 of the F124 My Team career mode. Yes, we're back this weekend here for the Shanghai Sprint. Of course, if you missed out on the video that went live actually last week now, I apologise. We've been very busy. Then I would highly recommend going back and checking it out. Like I mentioned in that video, obviously the My Team series, I'm aiming to try and keep it at least 2 videos a week. But obviously with, you know, the Williams RTG with co-op and various streams as well, you know, I am limited in just how many videos I can, you know, physically create in a certain period of time. Now, you might be noticing as well, the livery has changed this weekend. Somehow, staggeringly, there's 5 liveries available inside this game so far for My Team. 2 of them are McLaren and Alpine, and of those 5, the one I was using got deleted, so thanks EA for that one. Why on earth we're getting so few in this game, I will never know. So that's why the car design has changed this weekend as we head here to Shanghai. Anyone that obviously watches as well the driver career mode will remember that we're actually now doing one-shot sprint qualifying inside that series. That's not going to be carried over into this career mode still. I'm going to leave it as like the one-session qualifying still, just because it's nice to have a bit of change of a format as well there. Now, we've got a little bit of R&D. So we might be able to try and do some upgrades in the near future, but as you can see, everything at the moment costs a lot of money. So we're in a little bit of trouble right now early on this campaign. We desperately need some more upgrades on the car. We're still 10th in the Drivers' Championship and 6th overall in the Constructors, so that's looking okay. But we'll wait and see if we can return to the points this weekend. Well, not only is Shanghai a tricky Formula 1 circuit, it's just one that you never quite have got a perfect car for. You need the high speed for that back straight, but you need the downforce through the rest of the lap as well. So it is really, really difficult to get nailed inside F124, especially obviously in these sprint qualifying sessions, because obviously we've got one set of softs and then 2 sets of mediums. So we always have to go out for a banker first of all, and then we've got to save that set of soft compound tyres right for the end of the session, and immediately, that lap on the mediums is going to be a complete write-off there. Running just under steering out wide through turn 1. That grass on the outside is always there to catch you out. And yeah, this lap I think is in the bin. Or Logan Sargent had temporarily gone to the top of the timings. That would certainly be a turnaround for Williams. And that's gone. Yeah, Gasly there going near enough a second quicker than the Williams driver. 212 miles an hour though down the back straight. I did have the car set up to do exactly that kind of speed around this circuit, but just one more corner to navigate then, and it is a tricky one here. Russell, 130.4. I'm so used to the times now inside F1 Manager that everyone seems incredibly quick. Not me, though. A 133.8 is not a time to write home about. Well, as I have effectively made this a one-shot qualifying sessions for myself, I guess we're kind of on equal footing because the AI, for whatever reason, do 2 runs on the soft, so I'm hardly expecting to see many of them improve here as they head back out onto the circuit. Admittedly, yeah, the soft tyres are completely useless for the rest of the weekend. I'll do about 5-6 laps in race trims, so yeah, not the end of the world, but yeah, we want to try and find a bit more time. Of course, most of that will be found through these first couple of corners. We're looking for at least 2 seconds on this lap. That would bring us up in line with Sargent and quicker than our teammate here, but anything more would certainly be a blessing there, as 1.6 seconds up already. 2 tenths down currently on the time set by Zhou Guanyu, so we're not a million miles away from the front runners. But yeah, we're certainly still lacking that out-and-out one-lap pace. Obviously, we had a bit of a disaster last time at Suzuka. Yeah, currently last place at the moment. We're going to have to try and save up a little bit of battery here as well. Just use slightly more as the lap has unfolded. Brake at 100 meter board, try and get the car slowed down. And I get really nice traction on the exit, actually. 2.2 seconds up. One more corner to go. It's been a decent recovery lap up to this point. Out of the final corner, up towards the line. It's going to be a 1:31.4. We go P18. Well, we're certainly never expecting to set the world alight, but Fernando Alonso, pole position for the Spaniard here. A really, really good effort done at the end of qualifying. Beats out Russell, Piastri, Verstappen, and Charles Leclerc. So 5 drivers from 5 different teams making up the top 5. Aston Martin, though, seem to be the ones with pace here, as Sergio Perez finds himself all the way down in P13. We need to do more of this series because I forgot how mad the battle was at the front of the order. But for us, though, P18 ready for the sprint race, I think it's going to be a long weekend.
So it is all about speed in today's sprint. Not very many laps and no chance to get ahead on strategy. Who here today has the raw skill to take them to the top? We're here in the Yangtze River Delta today, home of the 16 corners that make up the Shanghai International Circuit. 54% of this 3.3 mile lap is taken at full throttle, and we'll be getting up to speeds of around 200 miles per hour with DRS assistance down the back straight before the cars break into the tight hairpin at turn 14. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's sprint. Fernando Alonso lines up on pole position, just ahead of George Russell, who starts this event from P2. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Oscar Piastri, Verstappen, Leclerc, Stroll, Hamilton, Sainz, Gasly, Ocon, Norris, Ricciardo, Perez, Tsunoda, Teo Porcher, Albon, Bottas, Mr. Monaco, Joe, Hulkenberg, Sargent, and Ayumu Iwasa. Which of these drivers will get pole position today? We will soon find out. We welcome to the commentary box Anthony Davidson. I'm Alex Jakes. We're both looking forward to a really intriguing race today. So, a sprint race today, and that means lights to flag, no stops. And how is that going to affect the driver behind the wheel?
Absolutely. So for today, there's no pit stop, or shouldn't be a pit stop anyway, if things go right, and you can forget about strategy. You're just driving today as fast as you can, make those overtakes if you need to, and that's what a sprint weekend's all about.
I know you gutted to be starting from here, but just focus on putting that and some other cars behind you. Good luck.
Well, to be honest then, here in Shanghai, like I said, I think it's going to be a very long weekend for us. Just have not got the car, have not got the pace, and it's a track where the AI are very strong as well. So I'm happy that we were still able to put a little bit of time on Ayumu Iwasa there. But basically, we're going to use this sprint to prepare ourselves for the main show tomorrow. We'll work out where we're strong, where we're a bit weaker, and obviously getting back up to speed again with this car. Let's do this thing. 10 laps first of all ahead of us here from Shanghai. It is 5 red lights. And it's going to be lights out, and away we go. Pretty mediocre getaway there. Both Saubers getting off to a good run down in towards turn 1 as we're going to find an avenue to the inside of a couple of other drivers, and hopefully if we continue to hug that curb through turn 1, we will continue to make up even more there. Hi, Sergio Perez. We'll try and get very, very aggressive with the Red Bull man. A little bit of grass on the outside tyre there, so we'll have to slot back in behind him. But 4 places made up then. Off for the start ahead now of Bottas and Teo Porcher. There is Lando Norris trying to make moves. We're going to try and follow him down the inside. Oh, again, we're just bullying Sergio Perez here early on in the afternoon as he's trying to keep it up the inside there in towards the next corner. Just absolutely pinch him on the apex. We got nothing to lose here. We can just go for it early on in this race. As you can see, Gasly and Lando Norris feeling the same way, where you've only got 8 drivers that can score points. So there we go, down the inside of Esteban Ocon. And you know that obviously Red Bull are going to be quick, or Verstappen's going to be quick. I would say McLaren are meant to be quick, but Norris is way down the order as well. It really does add a little bit of spice. That kind of means for everybody else, you may as well take the gamble, because you're not really going to lose out on anything. As we just get up and under Esteban Ocon there, right onto the back straight. I think we've got pretty good top speed actually around this venue. We have got very good top speed. As to the outside of Norris, here comes Ocon again. 3 wide down in towards the final corner. Oh, I've overfired it in. Just like I do. Always around this circuit. Just getting a little bit over aggressive.
Stay alert for threats around you.
And Ocon, I think, yeah, was actually the one that was able to complete all those moves then. So that was a triple overtake for Esteban Ocon by the end of lap 1. But quite a good, exciting start.
Second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
If we can have a look back down the inside of Norris into T1. We just want to try and hang with these guys as best as we can, which we will do. Oh, here we go. Gasly and Ocon. We could do with some French Civil War in this Grand Prix early on, or this sprint race even, I should say. I mean, it's nice for us that we're able to kind of stick with them here early on. It's a shame we can't qualify a bit better. Otherwise, we could really try and make an impact there. As you can see, Ocon sends it through the final corner. That is going to trip the pair of them over there as Gasly... Oh, we're going to go 3 wide. Back down towards turn 1. Really trying to muscle out one of the Frenchmen. As again, the other one tries to slam the door. 3 wide again through turn 1. Get the car wedged over that curb and cut across on the exit. I mean, we are putting it all on the line here early on. But boy, this is fun. Well, put me out in clear air and we've got exactly 0 pace to fight around the cars near us. Ricciardo pulling away already a couple of tenths on this lap. But yeah, it is obviously a very, very stark contrast to the Ferrari career mode. Obviously there, we're expected to compete for wins week in, week out. Hasn't quite been the same recently. But in this series, any points we take, any big result we take, and we are always trying to punch above our weight. Well, we're definitely starting to cause a bit of a Riano Trulli train at this point of the afternoon. Every single car, including Awasa, is hanging on to me quite nicely. Gasly and Norris, though, starting to battle a little bit more. Not too sure what's happened to Esteban Ocon. But any chance we've got to try and run away, we're taking. Problem is, of course, I just cannot shake them out of the DRS. I think we are about to lose quite a few places here. Pierre Gasly much closer on the exit out onto the back straight. We'll try and use some of our battery as well. I want to make sure we've got enough to fight and defend ourselves. I mean, look at that, actually. That Alpine is not particularly racy there. He's going to send it.
You might start to notice it soon.
No idea where that's come from. I'm guessing the curbs here are quite aggressive. So that might potentially make the difference. Oh, Gasly absolutely mugs me there around the outside. I wanted to make sure I gave him room, but I wasn't expecting him just to send it, as we'll try and get a run then back down towards turn 1. Not often where you see the overtakes coming in, but down the inside we'll go. Just plant the car on the inside, keep it on that curbing, and we'll slide back through again. Maybe a little too aggressive that time round. Almost put it on the grass on the inside of turn 3, but we hang on again. 4 laps to go.
Good job.
It's a shame this isn't for actual points, but a top 10 finish I would take. Oh, I think Gasly's a little bit more committed this time around. Here comes Lando Norris as well. Down the inside into that hairpin. Again, we'll try and hook it up the long way around. The AI are very, very respectful there on the exit of the corner, making sure they give you the room. That time around, we're not going to back out of it, though. Lando Norris forced to give up the place. And luckily, as well, we get the DRS. We got yellows. We got yellows out. Someone up the road's got issues. I think that might be Lance Stroll out of the race. So disappointing for Aston Martin, then, with one of their cars. Our first mechanical failure of the weekend, and that's even more frustrating. I wouldn't have minded a 10th place finish. Ninth, 1 place outside the points is incredibly painful. Oh no, Gasly this time might have the speed. That Alpine is not particularly racy in a straight line. We have got identical power units to them. As this time around, the AI having a look to the outside. Oh, we overfired it in there. Gasly sensed that. Going to try and switch me on the exit the corner. Yeah, I think quite rightly there. We'll get a warning for the collision. And we will slot back in behind the Frenchman. So over to P9 then goes Pierre. And I mean, if we had another driver with an issue or a spin or something here, there's still the opportunity for a point. Back down the inside we'll go. Yeah, when we've got the DRS, we've got a huge pace advantage. This is Gasly trying to look for it. Perez now. Oh, getting in the mix as well. Oh, a little bit more contact. This is getting really like touring cars. Late on in the day, we are just absolutely the cork in the bottle at this stage of the afternoon there. As here we go, Gasly try and send it down the outside. It's not going to happen there though, Sonny. And we'll just cut him off. Well, I'll be honest, as sprint races go, this has been one of the better ones here from Shanghai. Plenty of action right the way throughout. The AI seemingly able to deliver quite a good fight today, as here comes Perez down the inside of Gasly, and maybe down the inside of myself as well there. The Mexican, he's had an absolute stinker as his teammate looks to score big points. Sergio Perez is looked to try and recover any kind of credibility towards the end of this sprint, and surely now as well, back down to turn 1, is going to get the run on me. We'll force him to the outside again.
0.5 seconds.
So Awasa, yeah, starting to drop off from the tail of the field, so another weekend to forget for him as Perez, he finds the grip. We're just about able to keep the nose there down the inside. We'll try and switch him through turn 2, but I don't think it's going to happen that time round. Perez through, and are we just going to watch him set sail? Watching the mini-map as well, Max Verstappen has just made a move for the lead of the Grand Prix, but Alonso and George Russell are right there with him still. It could be a slipstream battle down in towards the final few corners of this Grand Prix. We're going to make sure we stay in the range of Checo, but we are floating around the 1 second mark. I don't think we've done it. I think we're going to be even more vulnerable here. This is actually a Ferrari. Where's the Ferrari come from? No, they're in the group behind. It is still Verstappen at the front of the field then, making his way into the final corner. I thought we might see the return of Fernando Alonso today. It's not quite going to happen just yet. Max Verstappen is going to win the sprint in Shanghai. We've still got Gasly trying to have a look for it down into the final couple of corners as everybody queuing up to have a go at me here late on in the day. Perez the only one that was able to make it work. From 18th on the grid, though, it is P10 in the end. I'm happy with that. It was a pretty good race. Well, there we go then. We learnt a lot from that sprint about how to fight with the AI and all that good stuff there. And P10, like I said, from 18th on the grid, the tyres hung on pretty well. And the car seemed pretty racy as well there. So that's really reassuring as we head into real qualifying and the GP. Verstappen takes the win, just under half a second clear of Alonso and George Russell there. And a power move by Carlos Sainz means he goes from 8th to 4th as well when all is said and done there. Ricciardo probably the only surprise point scorer from that result. Hamilton, though, still leading the title with a 31-point lead over Sainz and Leclerc, with Piastri, Russell and Verstappen. What's that? 5 drivers covered by 4 points as well. A little bit further behind there. Mental scenes so far, but let's head then into real qualifying and of course then the Grand Prix. And as we make our way then into real qualifying, everybody now given 2 proper fresh sets of the soft compounded tyre, so it's not going to be a one-run show or anything like that. We might even see a couple of drivers sneak into the 1 minute 29s as well there, but yeah, Hamilton still with quite the buffer at the top of the table. It really has been a decent opening 4 races for our fellow Brit. He'll look to try and continue building on that, though, this weekend. But yeah, Mercedes has actually been George Russell that has carried the pace so far. In some lights, our car looks quite silver, so I think I'd rather have a silver arrows right now. But yeah, we need to try and deliver once again. Well, I reckon if we absolutely nail it here, then a 1 minute 30 is just like going to be doable for us. A 1:30.9. I probably should add. Carlos Sainz, top of the board so far, so it could be double Spanish delight this weekend, at least in qualifying runs, as we got a rear wing failure.
Okay, there's a fault with the DRS. You will not be able to open the rear wing. We're working on a fix. Stay out for now.
Well, we're going to lose the DRS then out of the final corner, but a 1:31.2? I didn't even know that was possible in qualifying. I said, I think it was in Monaco in the driver career, but how I love a bit more RNG. I don't want mechanical failures in qualifying. Well, the team had claimed they'd fixed the DRS whilst in the pits, but apparently that hasn't been the case. So as we go out for our final run then here in qualifying, we might be completely ruined here. You know, we're going to lose so much time down that back straight without DRS, and probably down to turn 1 as well. So my only hope is that they can try and fix it on this lap. But I mean, already, look at that. It's going to be a 10th down by turn 1.
Time, rain in 10 minutes.
I think it's getting even worse. Rain predicted, but it is after this first qualifying session and only qualifying session remaining of the weekend. There is other drivers around me trying to improve. I guess we've just got to try and go for it and see if we can find anything.
You will not be able to open the rear wing. We're working on a fix. Stay out for now.
Sergio Perez, terrible qualifying. In the sprint, we'll go up fastest P1 right now.
P16 now. DRS will be offline. There's a fault with the rear wing system. Stay out. We can work on a fix remotely.
Mark, I get it. The DRS isn't working. You don't need to keep telling me. And so far this lap, to be honest, is becoming a little bit of a write-off anyway. We've lost more and more time as the lap has unfolded. A 10th and a half down still. And I think we've used more battery than we did last time. So, yeah, really, really disappointing here in a session where I thought we might be able to get ourselves a little bit higher up the order. Really try and match the throttle down as we make our way then out onto the back straight. And now we're just about going to get the car up into the green, but it's pointless. It's irrelevant here as we watch that delta slowly seep away. We're going to lose another 10th or 2 down in towards the final corner. But let's just see what we can get on the board anyway. Half a second down temporarily there. I think that was just different lines into that final corner, but we've gone and lost a good 4 tenths on this lap. We've bottled it through the final corner anyway. Qualifying, ruined. Well, there we go. Sergio Perez takes pole position by just 1/10 of a second over Hamilton, our championship leader, and both Ferraris. Again, Verstappen finds himself in P6. Gasly, where on earth did that lap time come for the Alpine there? Magnificent result. As Alonso, he actually ended up slower than he did in the sprint race there, so P7 for him ahead of both McLarens. And yeah, George Russell as well, who found himself on the front row, unable to go any quicker. For us, though, I reckon we could have been around Albon and Tsunoda's pace. Ultimately, we didn't really lose any spots from where we qualified, but I hope they get the car fixed as we move into the race.
The Chinese Grand Prix then is upon us once again. A race that saw Michael Schumacher claim his final Formula One victory in 2006, as well as Red Bull's first with Sebastian Vettel in 2009. There's no doubt plenty more drama to come here in Shanghai. Shanghai International Circuit then is a 16-corner high-speed thrill ride. The long and ever-tightening right-hander at turns 1 and 2 tests the driver's patience, and the flat open to the elements location tests their skill in a crosswind. 2 DRS zones for an assist passing, and they're available into turn 1 and down the kilometre-long back straight into turn 14. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Sergio Perez will lead us away from pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Sainz, Leclerc, Gasly, Verstappen, Fernando Alonso, Norris, Oscar Piastri, Russell, Ocon, Ricciardo, Albon, Tsunoda, Mr. Monaco, Bottas, Hulkenberg, Joe, Sargent, Teo Porcher, Iwasa, and Lance Stroll brings the grid to a close. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head down trackside for today's race.
So we've got a great chance of scoring points today. Let's be careful as we work our way through the field and bring it home in the top 10. See what you can do.
Well, Mark is right. We've got to try and bring it home in the top 10. We can't really afford to be careful, though, especially down in turn 1. We have got to send it here if we want any look in today. By virtue, some Lance Stroll penalties as well. We find ourselves one place further up the order. There is a chance of rain. It's not showing it at the moment, but there could see some rain roll in later on in the afternoon, especially if we've got a safety car or a red flag. So changeable conditions on the horizon here in Shanghai. But yeah, lining up P15, we've got to try and make some moves early on. Let's do this thing here for the Chinese Grand Prix. Round 5 of the season is 5 red lights. And it's going to be lights out, and away we go. Off to a fairly clean, tidy start. We're going to immediately try and get to the inside, ready for turn 1. As everybody, once again, there just starts to concertina themselves up. Zhou Guanyu, home race for him. And immediately he's going to ruin both his race and potentially mine as well there. Aggressive dive bomb at that first corner. There was never going to be any space. There was nowhere for me to go. And immediately both of us then with some pretty substantial damage.
Just watch out for it.
Yeah, really not too sure what he was thinking. And yeah, that is a real shame early on. Luckily, the team reckon it is only minor damage on our car. But yeah, nowhere near as much ground gained. In fact, no ground gained so far on lap 1 this time around, as Albon and Tsunoda side by side making our way through the first part of the S's. So weirdly as well, because didn't I saw him lose half his front wing? Doesn't actually seem to be struggling as badly as I assumed he would. That's not ideal for us though. Just clipping the back of Alex Albon there as we try. I wasn't actually trying to rejoin in the middle of the road, we just ended up in the way of Porsche. We are down to last place then in this Grand Prix, so an absolute stinker of a start. A stark contrast to the sprint race yesterday. Back down the inside of Teo Porcher, though, we will go. So back into P21, but chaos here early on. Surely we're going to see Zhou Guanyu into the pit lane at the end of this first lap, as Perez, though, still at the front of the field, able to lead the way. Teo, he's trying to defend from me, so we'll try and have a look back down the outside. Surely I don't want to end up last by the end of lap 1. Are we going to see Zhou into the pit lane? No, we're not, surprisingly. That was a big chunk that came off his wing, so I'm surprised he's still going. But I'm not really sure how we found our way around the outside of Stroll down at T1, but I guess we'll take it as well there. Another freebie gained. Back a bit of P20 we go. So already then Gasly, see after that miraculous qualifying effort.
Let's use that overtake button a bit more.
Already causing a little bit of a train here. So yeah, although that lap 1 was a complete disaster, not the end of the world. There might still be places to be had. First time around with DRS, and you can see cars fanning out down the back straight. It's down the inside of Sargent, and our teammate will go. Wasn't actually planning on trying to make the move there on Ayumu, but I guess we'll take it. A bit of P18 once again then, so you can see Zhou Guanyu desperately trying to defend from everybody he can. Hulkenberg is the one that pulls the short straw that time, but he's going to try and have a look back down the inside into that first corner. We thought about a move to the outside there, but we'll try and go late on the apex. Cut back in, though, down the inside of 1, 2, and 3. And Zhou Guanyu as well. Just no grip through turn 1. So we're back to where we qualified. And a double overtake followed almost immediately by a triple overtake. 5 cars navigated in one go. Oh, come on then, Nico Hülkenberg, straight back down the inside. We've kind of found ourselves in a little bit of a gap now, where Albon and those cars in front are slightly quicker. And, well, I was going to say Hülkenberg and co behind, but I think that's just because Zhou Guanyu is holding everybody up. I guess I'm happy to sit behind the Hulk if he can close in on these cars. But yeah, immediately, not quite like we saw in the sprint, but you can kind of see how we were able to hang on, but not make any progress. Yeah, Hülkenberg seems to be about the same pace as all those cars in front of him, but doesn't really seem to be taking any time out of them here. It looks like as well that I believe it's one of the V-Cubs. It must be Ricciardo. I fired that off way too far. Yeah, it looks like Ricciardo as well has kind of dropped back into that group as well. So, a bit like early on in the game, when Lance Stroll is having a terrible weekend, as he is obviously, thanks to grid penalties to be fair, not due to his own skill, it kind of gives all of us backmarkers an opportunity to fight for one single point around this circuit. So we're trying to think about the long game as we get to a quarter distance, and just working out how we could get there later on. Well, ultimately, I'm getting a little bit bored being stuck behind Hülkenberg at this stage of the afternoon. Problem is, he just gains so much heading out onto that snail section. Oh, again, he tries to move late into the braking zone. This time around, though, we'll get it slowed down. Try to have a look around the outside. Not going to happen there, but Ocon and Albon fighting up the road as well. Hopefully this could bring us closer to them. So we're going to really try and get a run then on Hülkenberg out of that final turn. Just getting bored, yeah, staring at him. As we start lap 9 of this Grand Prix. To the inside we'll go. Back up into P14 then we'll move. And now you can see Hülkenberg again trying to get back up the inside. We'll give him a little bit of a squeeze. We'll have the inside for turn 3. And we're through. And as we get towards the pit window then, things are just getting really frustrating so far in this Grand Prix. Hülkenberg again going to have a look back down the inside. When I'm behind him, he's too slow.
Lost the position, try to keep focus.
When he gets back in front though, he just seems to kind of... Sorry, when I'm behind him he gets too slow. When we get in front, we just don't quite have enough to keep up with those AI in front either. So it's really, really difficult here. We're kind of between a rock and a hard place early on.
And you're going to be on hards next time.
It is looking very, very overcast around the circuit. You can't even go for an undercut or anything like that, because it is so difficult to manage the tyres here around this circuit. It is a tight one-stop race, but obviously a two-stop just doesn't really work either. It's again side by side through the first couple of corners. Actually decent wheel-to-wheel racing there between myself and the Hulk. To the inside we'll have a look though. Again, we'll just about pull it off.
No rain expected, no rain expected for the time being. Dry's definitely seem like the fastest tyre at the moment.
That is a bit of a shame then. No rain is anticipated at this stage of the afternoon. I think it would just add a little bit of spice to the rest of the race here. Because, yeah, at the moment, we are just... I mean, we're just going to be in a race-long battle with Hülkenberg, aren't we, at this rate? Do we box the end of next lap? I'd like to try and take the softs one further. I will give it credit, this car's pretty nice on its tyres.
Okay to use your overtake button.
But yeah, for a car that's quite bad performance-wise, it's actually pretty good on its Pirellis still. Which is nice, you know, to know down in the future when we need to open up races a bit more. Again, we'll go the long way around Hülkenberg through 1. And again, we'll hang on to it through turn 2. He says, not quite there. Again, we're going to be wheel-to-wheel with the Hulk off of the second corner. This time around, I'm sure he's going to defend.
Too aggressive.
And Hülkenberg there down the inside at the hairpin still. Side by side though, as we make our way back up in towards the S-bend. Come on, neither of us really want to back out. Hülkenberg does though, as we fire it in way too deep through the first part. Again, he's going to get to the outside of me. And he hook it up the long way around. We don't want to back out of it. Hülkenberg will send it back down the inside though. Oh, we'll try and switch him on the exit. Not enough grip there on the dirty side. And I guess then, as we get ready to make our first and hopefully only pit stop of the day, we'll do whatever Hülkenberg doesn't here. That's if I don't get a big run on him. Down in towards the hairpin. Oh, he locks up slightly. Hülkenberg there, oh, still on the inside. I didn't quite know where he was going to go. So I'll let him hold the apex there and I'll just back out of it. Hülkenberg opts to stay out. So we're going to dive in then here very, very close to the pit wall. Oh, that was far more aggressive than I'd ever intended. But we hang on. 49 miles an hour into the pit lane. That might be the most ragged pit lane entry I'll ever do on an F1 game. But we got no penalty for it. So I guess we'll take that, you know, as a bonus there. Théo Pourchaire has come through the pits in the other Haas car, so not sure what's happened to him today.
Come on! That was a fantastic stop, faster than we were expecting. That was our last stop, no more scheduled pit stops, let's go.
Well, a 2.3 second stop then somehow is better than anything Ferrari's seemingly able to do at the moment. So we've got my little minnow backmarker team has better pit crew than one of the biggest and most recognisable car brands in the world. Well, there we go, starting to see a few more cars then diving into the pit lane at the very least. Oh, we've got the jump on Hulkenberg there, although I did get air through the final corner.
0.7 seconds.
There is Bottas, there is the Hulk, so we might just got him outside the DRS range. Annoyingly, doesn't really look like we've taken anything out of Ocon. Got no more cars in, so Porsche hasn't tried to do some weird strategy or something like that. He must have just picked up damage early on in the Grand Prix and I failed to notice. So we're back up then into P15, but yeah, still 5 seconds back from Ocon and Albon. The only thing I'm thinking about is maybe if Stroll can get to us, he could kind of drag Hulkenberg and I along a little bit to get closer to those next group of cars. But the problem is, yeah, the V-carbs and I think that's... Who is that? Is that Gasly? Yeah, must be. Are now just pulling away from them. Here comes Hulkenberg again then. Not really sure it's worth a fight at this stage of the afternoon. I'm much more interested to see what Stroll's pace is like. Because there you go, the other Aston Martin driver. New fastest lap.
That place back.
Yeah, at the moment, we're really just kind of thinking about our own race here, trying to preserve the car and the tyres, just in case something happens towards the end of the afternoon. Stroll, though, goes more than a second faster than me that lap.
Okay, so we're leading our teammate by 12.3 seconds.
I mean, it's so ridiculous, isn't it? How can Hulkenberg be so fast around so much of this lap, but so slow through that snail section? It makes no sense. Oh, Hulkenberg again, having a look down the inside, and again, he's just costing us both time right now. I mean, I was happy to sit behind him for a while. Why won't he do the same with me? Come on, we've got to work together, man. We're not fighting for anything. But there's a chance still, admittedly a slim chance. But Stroll is going quicker than every car in front of us at the moment. Every sensible car, anyway. Oh, we're still seeing fastest laps being thrown up occasionally by some of the top drivers here. Leclerc now has moved his way to the front of the field. Here goes Hulkenberg and Lance Stroll, 3 wide temporarily down the back straight. Is, yeah, not really worth our fight right now. Hulkenberg is really going to try and give him a bit of a squeeze, though, in that Aston Martin, so clearly he disagrees with the task at hand. Are we going to see Stroll hook it up, though? Hulkenberg's still there. Down the inside of the final corner. The Aston Martin had to try and defend from. As Hulkenberg again tucked up in the wheel tracks of Lance back down in towards turn 1. Like I said, I'm happy to get between them, to be honest.
10.6 seconds.
I never thought in a Formula 1 game I would be trying to work with Lance Stroll, but that's the situation we're in right now. 7.7 seconds to Albon at the road, 10 laps to go of this race. Oh, we've got yellows. We've got yellows out a little bit further behind as we are desperately trying to keep up with Lance Stroll. Is that Porsche? Is it Zhou Guanyu? I think it's Théo Porsche that is going to be out of this Grand Prix, so disaster for the Frenchman. Really has been a weekend to forget.
We need to form up at reduced pace. Keep a close eye on that delta time. Make sure to keep it positive. Right, drop your speed. Our delta's too low and we're going to risk a penalty. Slow your pace immediately. Okay.
Oh, yeah, Gasly's gone as well then, so 2 mechanical... Oh! Okay.
The car.
So 2 mechanical failures then, and we've got a red flag.
Safety car is in this lap. When the field accelerates...
Well, that was very much out of nowhere then, late on in the afternoon, and well, I'm just happy that it might give us some kind of intrigue towards the end of this race.
A nice advantage here. Let's have a think about how we handle the rest of this race.
Oh, dearie me, there is rain on the horizon. I don't know whether it's going to show up before the end of the afternoon, but I have no idea what is going to be the course of action here. Lap 22 we're restarting on. It's probably too far for the softs to go to the end. But is it worth a gamble? It won't even let me. We've got to start. Unless I could add a stint and then go soft. I don't really know what the game's doing, but that's what we're going to try then. Start on the soft compounded tyre. They're really worn. We can't do that. We cannot afford to do that. I don't know what we're doing. We'll go mediums because we got a completely fresh set. But heavy rain expected to fall before the end of the afternoon. This could be chaos. Right, here we go. Ready on the grid. 5 red lights. And it is going to be lights out. And away we go here in Shanghai. For the third start of the weekend there. We've got to try and defend from Hulkenberg down towards turn 1. But we know there's an opportunity to try and make some moves there. We're going to have a look around the outside of as many cars as we possibly can at that first corner there. V-Carb have taken the gamble. They put both drivers on a set of the softs. Oscar Piastri's gone hard tyres for whatever reason. So I think everyone kind of left scraping up whatever tyres they've got left towards the end of the afternoon here. Surely
Rain, ETA, about 15 minutes.
Surely V-Carb can't get to the end of the afternoon on those tyres there. It's around the outside of both Australians at the bottom of the hill. And for the first time all weekend, we are finally back up inside the top 10 here. I would love to walk away with a point, no matter how lucky that point might be here come the end of the afternoon. But the dream restart for us, making moves. Now we've got to try and hang with those cars in front. I mean, that rain has really got to roll in rather fast here towards the end of the afternoon, but it is expected to. Maybe, I mean, this is Shanghai. Maybe they're doing some cloud seeding or something like that around the circuit to try and make the Grand Prix more interesting here. But Hamilton, I've noticed he's on a set of the hards. So, yeah, he's really struggling at the moment. Yuki won't be able to do a lot with those softs. I'm not convinced he'll even get him to the end. If he does, they are going to be really worn out. But yeah, those hard tyres do take a bit of time to warm up. Well, now we're starting to see all of those harder compound tyres firing back up here late on in the day. I've got one eye on the sky, one eye on the gap in front. And you can see Oscar Piastri now as well has really closed in on me. So, I mean, we are going to be defending towards the end of the afternoon from some much quicker cars. As Ricciardo trying to get a run as well down the inside. We'll look the Australian racer. Trying to defend from all the Australians late on. As around the outside, we'll go through that hairpin. A move we have pulled off more than once before this weekend. As all Oscar Piastri really trying to be firm there with the move. We'll have the DRS though, but Ricciardo's got a good run as well. To the inside, back down towards turn 1. I'm still hoping Tsunoda's tyres fall apart. But I'm just starting to get worried that he will be able to get him to the end. 1 lap to go then here from Shanghai. Those skies are looking very overcast.
About 10 to 15 minutes from now.
That rain is certainly not going to show up yet. Here goes Oscar Piastri down the inside at turn 1.
2.0 seconds.
For the final points paying position, have we just been mugged off by the McLaren there as well? Ricciardo, I thought he was going to back out of it. We kind of turned in on him there, but we got away with it. But Oscar Piastri now back up into top 10, back up into that final points paying position. I have no idea how Yuki Tsunoda has been able to hang on to those tyres towards the end of this race, but we need to try and stay close to the McLaren. We need to make sure we get the DRS off him down that back straight if we want any chance at it, or are we once again gonna lose out on a P10 finish here in Shanghai to a much faster AI car on the very last lap of the afternoon? I think we are. It is just slowly going away from us here. Piastri's got so much pace in that car. Now he's got ahead of me here. Tsunoda, he's not even dropping back just yet. He's done a really good job managing that set here. Charles Leclerc, though, out in front. At the front of the field, I believe. I genuinely don't know whether it's him or Sainz. I'm just pretty certain that it is the Monegasque driver there. I think it's still Perez in P2, but it's going to be Ferrari, Red Bull, Ferrari, Red Bull. Either way you look at it here, through the final corner, I think it's Charles Leclerc on top. Here comes Ricciardo trying to look down our inside. It is Leclerc that takes the win. We're able to defend from the Australian through the final corner. So close again to points here in this GP, but ultimately, we just don't have the car.
What a performance! He's left the field behind. Charles Leclerc wins it.
It was a joy to watch today, honestly, because the driver was clearly able to read the conditions well on track, to use the information properly from the team, and usually come up with the right solution at the right time.
And here we are, a team that is no stranger to the podium, taking their place on top once again. A sublime race today, and a stunning win for Ferrari.
well, just outside the points in both races this weekend is a really, really painful conclusion, especially, I felt like we'd driven so well over the course of the racing as well. But ultimately, we just don't have a car quick enough right now. Charles Leclerc from 4th on the grid, exactly the same position Max won in the sprint yesterday. He will take the win here in Shanghai, ahead of Perez and Carlos Sainz there. Verstappen in 4th, a decent recovery drive from 6th on the grid there with Alonso, Norris, Russell, Hamilton, Tsunoda and Piastri making up your top 10 there. 11th for us in the end, following on for our 10th place finish in the sprint. Yeah, races don't get much more painful than that in the F1 world, especially when you are a struggling backmarker team. That means in terms of the championship, Hamilton's gap at the top cut down to just 10 points there ahead of Leclerc. Sainz a further 9 back ahead of Verstappen and Sergio Perez, with George Russell, Alonso and both McLarens ahead of myself. I think our battle this year is likely going to be with Lance Stroll there, but more and more lower class teams and drivers getting points on the board. I believe it is still, just Williams and Kick Sauber yet to pick up a point. But thank you all so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and we'll be back very soon when Formula 1 returns ready for the Miami Grand Prix.